All right, we'd like to welcome Ludvig Aberg to the 2023 John Deere Classic. Ludvig, making your first start here at the tournament, but your ninth start on tour, your fourth as a professional. I'm guessing you've had a chance to maybe see the golf course. First impressions, and what are you sort of anticipating this week at the John Deere Classic?
Yeah, absolutely. We played the back nine this morning, so we played 9. It's a great course. I mean, obviously, being a fan of the PGA Tour for such a long time, I've seen the tournament, and I recognize a few holes, especially 18 and 17 coming down the stretch. So I think it's going to take a lot of birdies. I think it's going to be pretty low scores, with the weather being, if the weather holds up. So greens are good. Greens are rolling really nice. Yeah, just really looking forward to it.
You've posted a couple of top 25s in your first 3 starts as a professional. You just mentioned too, coming here and you know, not being in this place before, but seeing it on television. How much of a help is that to actually, you know, see some of those tournaments that you've mentioned and played on TV before you go to them?
It's helpful, absolutely. I mean, I mean, obviously it's going to be a little bit different from day to day and tournament to tournament, but you know, you've seen a few shots, you recognize a few of the. I mean, obviously, like what Jordan did here when he won his first tournament, those kind of things that, you know, they're kind of in your mind when you're playing that hole. So I think it's going to be advantage, but I also think it's you know, good for the guys that have been here a few times as well.
If we have any questions, just raise your hand and we'll get you a microphone. Either of you two guys. Go ahead, Mac.
You got a chance to play with the European Ryder Cup captain last week. I guess, what did you take from that experience, and how much is the Ryder Cup kind of on your mind?
Yeah, I got to play 2 rounds with Luke and Danny last week, and it was a lot of fun. It was a little bit nervous, but it's you know, Luke, he was a great guy. We talked a little bit, at least during the round, and got to know him a little bit more. And if you would have asked me a few weeks ago if Ryder Cup was on my mind, no, absolutely not, because I was still in college and I didn't think about it. But obviously, you know, being in that situation a little bit more, it's you know, as a competitor and as a golfer, Ryder Cup is something you've dreamed of since you saw it for the first time when you were a little kid. So obviously I would have loved it, but it's also not on my mind all the time. You know, all I can do is try to prepare for every tournament and try to do as good as I can and see where that takes me. But sometime in my career, I would love to play a Ryder Cup, absolutely.
Tom, go ahead.
Been a quick transition for you from college to tour life. What has that been like and for you, and what have been some of the most eye-opening experiences for you, things that you weren't expecting to see out here?
Yeah, it's been a few intense weeks ever since I played my first event in Canada a couple of weeks ago. It's been kind of on the go all the time. So, but you know, I try to be prepared for it. I try to prepare for it as much as I could, and it's going to take some time. I think it's going to take some time to get used to it, and it's, whether you like it or not, it's a completely new setting. So there's a lot that goes into that, and all I can do is try to embrace it, try to have fun with it, and try to learn as much as I can, because there are going to be things that are different. You know, we were just talking about going from week to week to week, which in college you normally had a few days between the tournament at least, but now you're leaving the last round and you got a practice round the next day. So I think those things are going to be a little bit different, and you know, I think just being okay with being a little bit uncomfortable at times is going to be important. So that's how I try to view it, and then just see where that takes me.
Are you still uncomfortable out here?
I think uncomfortable is the wrong word. I think I'm more getting used to it, and I think I'm, you know, learning as I go. And I don't think uncomfortable is the right word. I think, you know, I'm still in the learning process. But, you know, I love playing here. I love playing all these events that I've seen on TV so many years. And it's a little bit surreal. I almost have to pinch myself when I wake up in the morning. But I'm so fortunate to be here and looking forward to a fun week.
Okay, speaking of surreal, I don't know if you've seen or not, some people are picking you as a favorite this week.
Yeah.
How do you react to that, other than the laugh?
Yeah, that's a little bit surreal, I think. I mean, just like you said, I think it's going to take some time to get used to all these things, and it's a little bit different from college. But yeah, like you said, it's a little bit surreal.
Jeff, do you have a question?
Ludvig, just wonder if is there anything about being on tour now, you've played in a few events, is there anything that has surprised you or maybe that was unexpected that you were like, that was eye-opening?
That's a good question. I don't think, I mean, I was fortunate to have played a few of these events before I turned pro, and I think that's so important, and I think that's why, you know, all these tournaments, especially John Deere, Travelers, they do such a good job of giving sponsors invite to younger players. I know Michael and Gordon are here this week, and I think it's so valuable. But I think the biggest thing for me that's changed is just going from week to week to week. This is only my third week, and I'm playing next week as well. So I think getting used to being on the road, traveling, finding places to eat, finding places to stay, all these things are going to get easier every time I come back to an event I've been to before. But I think just all these new things, all these new impressions is kind of adding up. But it's also so much fun and something that I've dreamed of for a long time.
Ludvig, to Tom's point earlier about perhaps being the favorite, 5 of the last 9 winners here have made this tournament their first PGA Tour victory. So it's not out of the realms of possibility. When you come into a tournament like this and you hear something like that, does that make you uneasy? Does it give you confidence?
I think, you know, it is what it is. I think whatever you say it's going to be. I think for me, it's, you know, I've been close to the lead now for a few tournaments, and it's a lot of fun. So all I can do is try to put myself in that position again, and if I can prepare well and I can play well, and then come Sunday I might have a chance to win, that'd be great. But I'm also, you know, I'm also going to be okay if I don't. So whether I shoot 75 or 65, I'm still going to be me, and I'm still going to be okay with that.
Tom, do you have another?
You mentioned the grind out here a little bit. You've only been out here for 3 weeks. How difficult has it been for you to go back to back to back like this? And is it more difficult than what you thought it was going to be?
It hasn't been that bad so far. You know, I've been so well taken care of by everyone that I've met, and all the people involved. So it hasn't been that bad. I would imagine if you play 7 or 8, that's going to be a little bit tougher. But you know, like I said before, I'm still in the stage where I'm almost pinching myself in the morning when I wake up. So I don't have an issue with trying to have fun. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to it, and you know, try to play as much golf as I can.
So what is your schedule after this week?
So I'll play the Scottish next week. I got an invite, so I'll fly over there, and then I'm not in the Open yet. Hopefully I'll be able to play my way into it. Other than that, I'll go back the week after the Open and play the 3M, and then play the Wyndham as well before the playoffs.
Are you on the charter from here?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ludvig, as the first PGA Tour University player in history to get a full exempt status out here, I know you made a trip to the global home at PGA Tour headquarters. What was that like, and what stood out to you the most of the few hours that you spent there?
Yeah, it was really cool. I think that was when I realized that I was actually a member of the PGA Tour, and it took a little time to sink in. But it was really cool. I got to meet a lot of good people. I got to meet a lot of good people behind the scenes that you don't think about when you're playing golf, but they do a tremendous job of getting everything together, and it was really cool to see kind of behind the scenes that I haven't really been exposed to before. But no, and then I got to see the backside of the TPC Sawgrass practice facility, and it's pretty unbelievable that I'm actually a member there, which also took some time to get used to, but it was cool.
Good stuff. Do you have any more?
Talk about that, the PGA Tour University opportunity, and what that means to you, and being able to jumpstart your career through that.
Oh, absolutely. I think you know, the PGA Tour U team is unbelievable. What they're doing, not only for me but for everyone who's a graduating senior, and I think the opportunities that comes with it, you know, if you would have told me 2 years ago that I was going to be a member of the PGA Tour coming out of school, I'd be over the moon. So, and just to have status out of college is so valuable, to whether it's Korn Ferry or whether it's the PGA Tour, and it's only going to get better too. So, I'm super grateful for all their support, and I'm just kind of fortunate to be the first guy to take advantage of it.
I know you played at Texas Tech, but what led you to the States to begin with? Well, I guess kind of just speak to that journey a little bit coming over.
Yeah, so I played a bunch of amateur events in Europe growing up as a junior, and I was fortunate to have my coach coming over there, Greg Sands. He came over to recruit me, and I guess he liked what he saw, and he offered me a spot on the team. It was a little bit of a change coming from Sweden to Lubbock, but because it was very different, just a little bit. But you know, I wouldn't want to have it any other way. Lubbock is so much fun, and I still live there. I'm going to be living there until the end of the year. So it's always nice to come back and you know, use the facilities, and because I know a lot of people there as well. But it was a little bit of a transition as well, and I know it's not the same, but it was kind of similar to this, to, you know, settling into the PGA Tour, and that took me some time to get used to college, and I would assume it's going to take me a little bit of time to get used to this as well. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how much has that helped? You know, you've kind of been through maybe a similar transition.
I think it helped me a lot. I think, you know, coming from Sweden, obviously English is not my first language, and all of a sudden you're at this big campus with 35,000 students, and you don't know anyone, and you don't know where to go, and it takes some ownership, and I think I had to mature a little bit faster than I would have liked to, but I think it's very valuable, and I think I can use some of that for this as well.
Did any other players from Sweden that you knew of give you any advice when you transitioned, when you came here, that had been through the same experience?
Yeah, so when I was recruited, we had 2 Swedish guys on the team, Fredrik Nielin and Adam Blomy. So I was able to talk to them a little bit, and everyone kind of said the same thing, like just be okay with, you know, it might take some time. You might not shoot 64 every round coming right out of the gate. So, and that's kind of how I try to view it, and it became easier and easier.
What about off the course? Were there anything that, you know, like 1 or 2 specifics? Was it something with the food that was really difficult with the transition? Was there?
The food is different.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, I like to cook. I didn't like to cook back then, but you can, if you want, you can eat very bad food in college. So I tried to avoid that, and I tried to eat as healthy as I could, but it's very easy to go to all these bad places in the start.
All right. Anything else?
What are some of the unhealthy things that you enjoy?
Chick-fil-A is nice. I can go on, but Chick-fil-A is probably top one there.
Well, we appreciate your time, and have a great week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ludwig.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.